Hey everybody, how you doing? Hopefully you're having a great weekend. Just a quick video this weekend to go through a few names that I'm watching very closely for next week as potential long ideas. As a reminder, markets are closed on Monday for President's Day. So starting Tuesday, these names along with some others I'm going to be watching really close for potential entries. So let's get started. Here's the SPY, S&P 500 ETF. You can see we had that so much strength since the beginning of the year. We broke above this key, 260 to 265 level that had potential to act as resistance since it acted as support here in October. And then November, we kind of consolidated right there, broke above it. Now we're approaching this 280 level, which is a really big area. You can see back there in March, it acted as resistance. Again, in June, what was resistance became support there. In July and August, and again turned resistance. You can see when price hit this area, here in October, here in November, and here at the beginning of December, price came down from that level. So now we're approaching that from the bottom. So it'll be interesting to see if we find some resistance there or if we continue to power through. If we do find some resistance and it starts turning down, we have a potential tradable support area here around this 260 to 265. So it'll be really interesting to see how this develops. I have no idea what's going to happen. Just going to kind of continue to watch it. I continue to add long positions that with charts that are setting up nicely, always keeping the risk in mind. The longer term indexes here have been strong lately, but they are approaching, as you can see in the SPY, some potential overhead. So we'll see if that ends up meaning anything or not. But over the short term, we've had a lot of strength, a lot of charts, a lot of sectors and industries looking pretty good. So we'll see if that continues or if things cool down. But we got to be prepared either way. So here's a few charts I'm looking at for next week. First one here is Dollar Tree, DLTR. This has an area here, just under $100 that you can kind of see it chopped around it here, but pretty much acted as resistance here, again here in May, again here in August, and it's just been consolidating right there. So if this starts moving up away from this $100 level, I think this has potential to make a nice run. So I'm watching this on the long side. You can put your stop a little bit under that yellow box to protect your risk. SYMC, very similar setup. This area here I'm watching is around, $23, $24 was resistance here, resistance back here in the fall a few times. Broke above it intraday there, never got the close it needed, and just consolidating right there again. So if this one can start pushing up and away from this $23 level, this looks like a nice long opportunity, in my opinion, with the stop slightly below that yellow box. RCI, I'm going to zoom out to the weekly here. You can see it's working on a potential breakout here. We'll call it $55, acted as resistance back here in November of 17, acted as resistance again here, and then just kind of been consolidating, continuing to push up against that level. So if price can break, this is the daily chart now, above this $55 level or so, this one has the potential to get moving. So I'm watching this as a potential long idea. Again, your stop, it just depends on your time frame, risk preference, position size, everything like that. But for me, you can put it, just under that yellow box, or you can put it, I like to put it under probably the lows from recent lows from last week or a few days ago. So I'd like to maybe put it under that 50-day there around 53.50. ISRG, this one looks really strong. It's working on a breakout above this 550 area. You can see it acted as resistance all these times throughout the fall and the winter. Again, early this year, hit that area, price came down. Now it's pushing up against it, had a nice move Friday. So if that move can continue, it can break above this 550 level. This one looks like a nice long with a stop again, a little bit under that yellow box. INSG, this is a telecom sector name, a lot of strength recently out of this industry. So keep an eye on this one. This is one I'm watching. This has an area here, around 450 or so, acted as resistance here, hit it here towards the end of the year, acted as resistance, had a nice breakout, and then just kind of been consolidating, a nice orderly consolidation back into that previous resistance zone. So Friday had a nice day, up 5%. So if it can continue its move up horizontal levels, I like to trade off a horizontal level. I'll call this one $5 or so. I'll zoom in a bit to kind of show you where I'm getting that. That's, if it can get over those lows here from the end of January, and that's what acted as resistance there in the recent week. So if we can get above that, that would be good enough to potentially trigger a long here in INSG. So another one I'm watching. This one's not quite ready for me. I wouldn't buy it right now, but if I zoom out, this is Sleep Number, SNBR. On the weekly, they just reported earnings, and it gapped up above this $40 level, which is a big level. You can see it was resistance here at the beginning of 2018. Resistance here in the fall. Then you can see that big weekly move after the earnings, that big gap up, gapped above that area. So I'm kind of just watching this one for a bullish consolidation. Maybe it kind of comes back into that 40 level or just kind of moves sideways. But if it consolidates a little bit and starts its move back up, that's what would get me to trigger along. So that's what I'm watching in next week and potentially the next coming weeks if it takes some time for that to develop. That's SNBR. This one I actually bought Friday. Longer term, these gold miners, they broke out of a kind of a longer term downtrend here. This is drawn from the highs of 16. But more importantly here, this level around, let's see, $22 or so, you could see it was support here, turned resistance here towards the end of the year, had a really strong move above it, kind of had a nice gradual orderly consolidation till it hit around that area, and then Friday had a nice breakout from that consolidation. So that got me to trigger the trade. Very tradable right here from the long side still, and then there's just been tons of shares traded, this $22 to $23 range. So if it can continue to move higher, this is an area that I'm going to continue to look for longs or maybe just add to this GDX ETF. But it's looking pretty good here. Nice move Friday. Still looks actionable. So keep your eye on that next week. Last one I'll go through here is BSX. I also have a newly initiated long on this one. Why? Well, this area, just under $40, you can see it was resistance here and here in October. Again, November just can't quite push through it. And then finally, at the beginning of February, was able to push through it. So this looks it's still not extended from that area by any means, so maybe it needs a little rest or consolidation. But if this one continues to hold above that $39, $40 level, I think this one looks very attractive on the long side. So those are some names I'm watching next week. Hopefully you found it helpful. Check out ttptrading.com. It's myself and CJ Agresta providing educational content and live trade alerts, etc. Feel free to check us out. If not, I hope you got some names for your watch list next week, and I hope you all have a great week. Thank you.